problem here. Why does it follow that if you have an understanding of the nature of reality and even have an experience of the nature of reality, that in any way that's equivalent to gaining an insight into the self? Why should there be any relationship between the two? Why does it follow that if some philosopher contemplates the nature of reality, there he is contemplating the nature of reality, right? Why does it follow that if he does get an insight into the nature of reality, that simultaneously gives him an insight into the nature of the self? Furthermore, let's put in now the other part of the riddle. We are the audience for Plato's dialogues. We don't know what he knows. We don't go through these stages and these transitions unless we become the philosopher. We can't be in the audience. These two need an audience. This, you can't be in the audience. You can't be passive. You either engage in it or you're out. You can recognize Socrates' early days as being ignorant. You can see he challenges belief. You can even go through some of the same things that he understands. But only man, by himself and alone, does this, perceives into the nature of reality. Now, I thought I'd read now a couple of things interesting about Aristophanes, Agathon, and Socrates, just to see whether we can make a couple of points. Now, the first one is, there's something about the tragedian and the comic figure, the comic writer. They both have beliefs, major beliefs. And the major belief they both share is that that level of knowing is not possible. That's what they agree to. Now, Aristophanes has that great story, as you undoubtedly recall, that in the early days, mankind was not as we are now, but composed of two-headed figures and 4 arms and 4 legs. And we were so powerful, we decided then to attack heaven, try to get into heaven, which some people are still trying to do today. Zeus, therefore, thinking that they were very powerful and nearly succeeded, decided that he was going to remedy this. And his remedy was very important because, after all, if he could make more of them, there would be more sacrifices, and that would please him. So he decided just to cut them right down the middle. Turn the heads around. And in that way, being successful, smoothed out the skin in the stomach area, used a smooth instrument, left a couple of wrinkles on the belly just as a reminder. And now, once split, man continually sought his other half. And the other half are in 3 sexes. Male, male, female, female, male, female. Well, as you know, according to the story, the human race nearly expired because when they met their other half, they'd embrace, but nothing happened since the sexual parts were on the outside. So Zeus had to come up with another miracle, and he turned around the sexual parts so they could then enter one another and be satisfied and then go on and do other things in life. Redo, all right? Therefore, love is nothing other than the power of getting back to your original shape. So therefore, now, he then has to deal with what happens when you do get your other half. And this is where he loses it, because he says, all of this going on as it is, it's not a sensual union that drives people together, but something else, and they don't know what it is. They're puzzled and bewildered about what it is that drives them. And therefore, they have a profound mystery of why they are together and what they expect to get from one another. Uh-oh, mystery, problem. How will he solve it? Remember, he can't solve it. There has to be a way in which it is solved for him. He can't solve it by recourse to understanding or knowing. Well, there they are then, they're brought together. And he has this great section where he uses the if hypothetical. What would happen if Hephaestus came along, the great god, the maker in the heavens, were to weld them together? Well, I imagine that those two people who were brought together in one of these combinations would think they're getting what they have always wanted. But the mystery remains. The mystery remains. They don't know what they can expect to get from one another. And so when they go down and end their lives and go into the next world, they are still welded together. And they still have no solution to their problem. The story is turning tragic. He lost the comic aspect to it. How will he resolve it? He resolves it in a very interesting way. See whether it's a solution, though. The way to make our race happy, happiness, is to make love perfect, and each to get his very own beloved and go back to our original nature. But when we had our original nature, we stormed heaven. His solution of being happy then is to go back to our original nature. He says, but if this is the best thing possible, the best thing to our hand must, of course, be to come as near it as possible. And that is to get a beloved that suits our mind. There's no place for mind in this whole system. Therefore, he lost his ability to resolve his comedy in a comic situation. He then moved upwards and reached for something, because there's nothing in the story that prepares someone to seek someone who suits their own mind. All he did was present a model for sexual combinations, and there is no role for mind in the whole story. Again, there's no reference to beauty in the whole thing, and his whole idea is that man will become happy when he makes perfect love by getting his proper half back together again. But would you not agree then, if he gets back to where he was before, he would then be once again strong enough to storm heaven? That means that Aristophanes' view of love, the origin of love, is a punishment. Love is a punishment, because that's what Zeus did. It's that split that produced love, that desire to regain our whole, our unity. His unity, therefore, is a physical unity. It has nothing to do with the higher essence of unifying oneself and the difficulties one has within oneself. It's purely physical. So therefore, his story fits exactly what we've been talking about here. We have fun reading it. We can enjoy it. But we know in the end that he wasn't able to maintain that theme to the end.